Namahharnisham Anekadantam Bhaktanam Yekadantam Upasmahe. Om Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Vishaje Bhavaroginam Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Namah Pranavartaya Shuddha Jnanaika Murtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim. Om Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanisadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam Navidusura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahabijyang Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Saraswati Namastubhyam Bharade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Harihi Om. I welcome you all to this Gita Swadhyaya Bhagavad Gita Adhyayana Bhagavad Gita Patham, which is called Bhagavad Gita class in English. This Patham has been designed or has been programmed for the Hindu temple of Hindu temple of Allentown. And now we are continuing this class online through this live broadcast. And we have very successfully completed the first chapter. And last week we entered into the second chapter. And we stopped last week at a spot which is very significant. And that spot is this shloka where Arjuna is for the first time seeking the Guru in Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Discovering the Guru in Bhagavan Sri Krishna. He is discovering, he is seeking, and at the same time, he will eventually discover. And we have seen in the last few shlokas in the first chapter also, Arjuna has expressed a bit of his vairagya, a bit of his objectivity towards the kingdom and other pleasures. And he has the mumukshutva also by asking Krishna in the shloka. He is expressing his mumukshutva also in the shloka. So the mumukshutva's expression is there, and the swikarana, that mumukshutva would mean the desire to know the best, the unconditional good in terms of realities regarding oneself, regarding Ishvara, and regarding this entire creation. So that is Arjuna here in this shloka number 7. Shloka number 7 in the second chapter. We'll see the shloka first. Karpanya doshopahata svabhavaha pruchhami tvam dharma sammudha chetaha yat shreyasyan nishchitam bruhi tanme Sishyasteham shadhi mam tvam prapannam. This shloka, where we have to rearrange the words, and you can see pruchhami. Pruchhami is, Arjuna is addressing Krishna and asking, I am asking you, He Bhagavan, Tvam, He Bhagavan, Tvam pruchhami. What is that you are asking? You are, let us see before that, who is asking? Arjuna is asking, I said, and this Arjuna has the problem, is expressing what kind of person he has become. Karpanya dosha. There's a dosha word we are familiar with, defect. And here is qualifying that dosha, that defect, as karpanya dosha. Karpanya dosha, the word karpanya is from the word kripana. The kripana word would mean a miser. Here Arjuna is saying, we'll see in the details why Arjuna would call himself as someone who is afflicted with karpanya dosha. And because of this karpanya dosha, upahata swabhavaha, my nature, hey Bhagavan, Bhagavan, my nature. What was Arjuna's nature? Arjuna's nature is the nature of a warrior, kshatriya. He wanted to even fight against his own brother Yudhishthira, when Yudhishthira would mock at his Gandiva, the bow of Arjuna. When Yudhishthira would mock at it, Arjuna would want to fight with Yudhishthira also, and then Krishna has to do a samarasa, Krishna has to mediate, and Bhagavan would say, Yudhishthira, you cannot fight, you should not fight with your own elder brother, whatever might be the reason. This is definitely not a reason. And he would advise Arjuna to do something, to say something which will be equivalent to causing harm to Yudhishthira, just for the sake of finishing that. So that was Arjuna's swabhava towards even Yudhishthira. Why Yudhishthira? Arjuna he also picked up fight with Bhagavan Sri Krishna inadvertently, and also knowingly also once. And then Brahmaji had to come for a compromise in one of those yuddhas between Krishna and Arjuna. There was a charioteer by name, not Krishna, Kayan. So here Krishna is a charioteer. There was a charioteer for Indra Bhagavan by name Kayan, and that Kayan would do something wrong towards Bhagavan Sri Krishna, for which the only punishment was death. And Narada Muni, as we all know, intervenes and asks Kayan to take refuge in Arjuna without even telling that, don't tell that it is with Krishna you have a problem, just go and seek the refuge of Arjuna and Arjuna will take care of you. And he goes and very faithfully seeks the refuge of Arjuna, and Arjuna as a Kshatriya, as I told, the Swabhava, Kshatriya Swabhava, Mabhi, don't fear. As the moment you have come seeking my refuge, you don't have to fear from that moment onwards. That was Arjuna. And then later on he found out Kayan was being chased by Bhagavan Sri Krishna himself. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna took the pratigya, took a resolve to put an end to Kayan, and Arjuna took a resolve to protect Kayan. How is this going to work? Then Brahmaji intervened and said, I am the creator, and here there is Bhagavan and Bhakta, so I will be more than happy to mediate. And what he did, he had Krishna put an end to Kayan, and as Brahma, as Srishtikarta, he would also fulfill the promise given by Arjuna by making Kayan alive again. So that Arjuna, he is saying, Karpanya dosha apahata swabhava. This swabhava of mine, Kshatriya swabhava, upahata, it has been destroyed by the Karpanya dosha. We'll see what is Karpanya dosha in a second. I just gave you a hint. Then what else is Arjuna's great qualification? Dharma sammudha chetaha. He is qualifying himself. Arjuna as a sadhaka, he knows his problem. By this verse, Arjuna clearly sees his problems. It is no more the problem of not wanting to fight the war. It is the problem of I don't see a solution to my shoka with whatever means I am seeking. That was Arjuna's problem. And he says, Dharma, my another qualification is Dharma sammudha chetaha. Dharma sammudha chetaha. Chetaha is singular. Cheta shabda, chetaha, usually in Sanskrit they would say aha when it comes plural, but chetaha is singular. Cheta shabda, from cheta shabda. Sammudha chetaha. Mudha, we know, we have heard this word mudha, maybe perhaps more than in some other words in Sanskrit. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudha Mate. That word we have seen. Here the word Mudha means Kinkaraniya Buddhi. Kinkaraniya Buddhi. Confused. So Mudha is not a fool, as some translations would say. Mudha is not Murkha. Murkha is a fool maybe. But Mudha is not fool, he is not able to choose. He is confused. Kim Karaniya Buddhi. And the word Sammudha would mean well confused. Sammudha Chetaha. Dharma. And in what is the confusion? Dharma. As Swamiji nicely said, where there is dharma, there is adharma. He sees adharma. And where there is adharma, he sees dharma. Where he has to execute, where he has to derelict his duty, he doesn't see that it is going to bring him any good. And this kind of what is right and what is wrong, that viveka, sammudha, is there. That kind of a confused Arjuna, he is asking Bhagavan Sri Krishna, Dharma sammudha cheta. Tvam prichami. What is that I am asking? What is that Arjuna is asking? Yat shreyaha syat. Yat shreyaha syat. What is the good? Shreyaha means what is the good? What is unconditionally the best? Not just for me, through me for entire humanity. We'll see that. That Shreyaha, you please tell me. And this should be Nishchitam Shreyaha. That is what I meant by the best. We'll see that also. So, tan, tat, that, may bruhi, to me, bruhi, please say. Please teach, please say, please teach, will come. Yeah. Then the question is, why should Bhagavan teach this to Arjuna? As Puja Swamiji would say, that was not a part of the contract. I have come just as your charioteer. And here you're asking me something more. And is this the right occasion also? These questions can come. So he continues, Arjuna continues by saying, Sishyaha asmi tvam. Sishyaha asmi tvam. I am your disciple, which means I am taking you as my guru. I plead you as a student. And tvam. And what kind of Sishya? Tvam prapannam mam. I, who is now going to take refuge in you and your words alone. I'm going to take refuge, Bhagavan, in you as a teacher, because he's calling himself as a Sishya. So that means there is teaching involved. Shadhi, Shadhi would mean, please, Anusashanam Kuru, please teach me. May you be the Agnya Dhata, and may I be the Agnya Karta. So, this is Arjuna's situation. And with this, he's asking. This word Karpanya, as I told you, very interesting. The word miser in English and the word misery, miserliness leading to misery. All these words are connected. And Karpanya would mean a miser would be someone who does not want to partake, want to be separated from even a little bit of his wealth. And funnily, he does not want to be separated from his wealth, even if it is going to give him some happiness. So even if some happiness is going to be the result, still he would forego that result just so that he can hold on to his wealth. As Puja Swamiji would say, even if he is getting, because he wants to, he is worried about the future, or maybe he is just incapable of giving, or he doesn't know how to give. And Swamiji, Maharaj, Puja Swamiji would say, even if he is having some roga, some disease, he would not treat himself thinking that he has to keep the savings for a bigger problem. So how is Arjuna a kripana? How is this applicable to Arjuna? Arjuna says, I am incapable of giving up this samsara. I am unable to get out of this shoka moha. I am unable to get out of these afflictions of me and my people. Affliction as a result, as a side effect of holding on to just me and my people. So that kind of a giving up is not possible, Arjuna is not able to do. And so in that way, Arjuna is a kripana, for the sake of paramartha, for the sake of the good, for the sake of the best, the little sacrifice he has to do, he is unable to do. Moha tyaga, that tyaga of moha, I am unable to do for the sake of paramartha tattva, for the paramartha, for the loka hita. I am unable to do that. So this is the kripanaha, and this bhava, whoever is got this bhava is called a karpanya, and the that dosha, with that dosha, I am afflicted. With that defect, I am afflicted. And upahataha, as a result, there's a destruction of my swabhava, which we described what was Arjuna's swabhava through the stories. And so, that may you please tell, pruchami, I'm asking you. Pruchami, what is that I'm asking? I'm asking you for its shreyaha, as we saw. The shreyaha means the good, unconditional good. Atishayena prashasti, prashastitaram. Atishayena, there's no boundaries. That kind of a well-being, not just for me and my people, but for everybody. What is that change in me? What is that lack of knowledge in me which is going to bring out the best? That thing, He Bhagavan, that vastu. He Bhagavan, I am asking you, dharma sammuda chetaha, we saw that also. Here dharma can also mean what that sustains everything. Dharma is what? Which sustains everything. And in that which sustains everything, that is Bhagavad Tattva, which is right in front of, who is right in front of Arjuna. That Bhagavad Tattva, I am having a confusion about what really is driving this whole thing. In that also I have a confusion. That dharma sanmuda chetaha, I am asking you, and this is word prapannam is there. Sishyaha, I am sishyasteham. Sishyaha is one who is fit to be taught. Sishya is somebody who seeks to be taught, who is fit to be also taught, which means there is the responsibility from the side of the guru to teach that person. So that Sishya I am, because in the olden days, the Shastra or anything would be taught only to the sons and Sishyas, only to the family members and Sishyas. So don't do nirakarana. Don't give me up. Please teach me. That is Arjuna's point. And Sishyasteyam Shadi Mam. Shadi, teach me means, Shadi means teach me, because Tvam Prapannam. Prapannam literally means Prapannam, Pada. On the feet, you put the hand on the top of the feet of the Guru. That is Prapannam. I'm taking refuge of your feet. That is Prapannam. And that can also be, there's a slight difference between Prapannam and Sharanagati. But here, as some of the Tikakaras would say, this Prapannam means I'm taking a refuge. Sharanagati, you can say. But then the teaching starts. It is not that I do this and then I don't pay attention to the words of the Shastra. So this is how it starts with the Prapannam. So this is the situation of Arjuna in this shloka, where he has taken the refuge of Bhagavan as a student, as a Sishya. And can we go to the next shloka, Swamiji? Go to the next shloka, where Arjuna is asking to Bhagavan, what is the sadhana? What is the means for this? Because I am not able to see the proper means. Whatever I have taken to be the means, such as, withdrawing from the battle or going to bhiksha, in the sense, giving up and going to sannyasa, a life of a mendicant, those are all, looks like, they are not the means. I just mentioned them, but you have to give me the means, Bhagavan. Because he's asking for the shreyaha, he's asking for the unconditional best in terms of knowledge, in terms of self-knowledge. That shreyaha, I'm asking you. We'll see. We'll develop the topic and say how that would mean self-knowledge. We'll see that. Here, Arjuna, he has to tell to Bhagavan, he positively asked Bhagavan in the previous shloka, in the Karpana, he positively asked Bhagavan to teach. Now here, he is putting the other side of it, what would happen? Who else would teach me? I don't see any means, I don't see a better teacher. That kind of a bhavana, that kind of a great attitude with that Arjuna is Continuing in this sloka. Nahi prapashyami mama panudyat yacchokamuchoshanamindriyanam avapya bhumamasapatnam ruddham avapya bhumavasapatnam ruddham Rajyam Suranam Apichadhipatyam. So, here you see the sloka, Nahi Prapashyami. Take the word, Prapashyami. Pashyami means I see. Now he says, Nahi Prapashyami. He here would mean because, since, because. Na prapashyami, I don't see. Hey Bhagavan, I don't see a proper means, nor I myself am capable of doing this. So that is what it means. The pra would mean in all terms, I am unable to see. What is Arjuna unable to see? Mama apanudyat. Mama is me. Apanudyat. Apanudyat means apanayet. I don't see that which can lead me away. I don't see that which can lead me away. Lead away from what? I don't see that which can lead me away from, I don't see that which can lead me away from my shoka. Choka word is there. Choka because of sandhi, but it means yet choka means that or that which shoka? Sadness. Choka is like choking, the sadness is choking, but here it's a sandhi. It is actually shoka. Sandhi means because of the words merging, it has become choka. A chokam. And what is the problem with that shokam? That shokam, uchoshanam. Uchoshanam. It is drying me up. Drying me up. It is driving me crazy and drying me up. And I'm incapacitated because of this. That is what it means, indriyana. My indriyas, they are incapacitated. And avapya bhumau. Avapya bhumau. Asapatnam ruddham. And in this bhumau means in this bhumau, I'm doing the anvaya also. Anvaya means I'm just rearranging the words. In this bhumau, in this planet, in this earth, bhumi, bhumau means in this earth, asapatnam ruddham. Asapatnam. Sapatnam or enemies. Sapatnam. Patna means to fall. They will make you fall. They might also fall along with you. Those are the enemies. Asapatna means unrivaled, no enemies. In this earth, say there are no enemies for me. Say there is ruddham. Ruddham means say there is abundant wealth. That kind of a rajyam. That is the next word, rajyam. And along with it, suranam api. Suranam means all the devatas, Indradi devatas, all the celestials. Adhipatyam cha adhipatyam, Suranam api, also along with this overlordship over this entire planet, even if I get the overlordship of the Devaloka, the celestial worlds, avapya, having obtained that also, hey Bhagavan, I don't see a solution to my sorrow. That is the verse meaning. And because in the Shastra it is told, Dvamimau purushau loke surya mandala medhinau Parivrad yoga yuktascha rane chabhimukho bhatah. The Shastra, it is told, one who fights for the kingdom and dies in the battlefield, for him the heavens are assured. That is the Shastra. But here Arjuna says, I know that there is that in the Shastra, but even with the best of best kingdom, with all the samriddhi, all the wealth and everything, I don't see unhappiness in that, a relief from my sorrow in that. And this Indradi Adipatyam would mean Brahmadi. Me being the Brahma of the Srishtikarta also would not release me from this shoka, which is based on my moha, which is based on my ahanta and mamata. So this kind of a situation, this shoka, this sorrow, sadness, based on my moha, which would mean my exaggerated value, my wrong values, my wrong false values, and that false values are based on my ahanta, that my I-ness, my not understanding myself in terms of reality, and not understanding my relationship, mamata, and I'm taking myself to be only this much, and this is what is going to bring me happiness. In Arjuna's case, it is a relationship, in spite of them being on the side of adharma. That kind of a connection is between Arjuna's shoka and Arjuna's ahanta, me and myself, that kind of a bhava. So here in this sloka, as we saw, I do not see anything, Hey Bhagavan, that will remove the sorrow that dries me up, my senses, even if I were to obtain unrivaled and prosperous kingdom on the earth and sovereignty over the denizens of heaven, over Indradi, all the devatas, sovereignty even with them, I'm unable to see a relief from my grief. That is Arjuna's statement here. And after saying this, so now he has taken Krishna Bhagavan to be his guru, and he has very clearly stated, it is not possible by any other means other than you being my guru and giving me that knowledge which will solve my fundamental problem. Arjuna has converted his topical problem to a very fundamental problem, according to Pujya Swamiji. Very beautifully said. So that fundamental problem is there, and I don't see a relief from that fundamental problem. And I just, in the wake of knowledge, it might resolve, I'm waiting for you to give me that knowledge. And after saying that, what did Arjuna do? What did Arjuna do? Because Arjuna, by this time, he knew clearly that it was his, he has fallen from his call of duty. And then what did Arjuna do is a question. Dhritarashtra is, waiting for Sanjaya to narrate what happened after this. And Sanjaya is speaking to Dhritarashtra. Sloka number 9. Eva muktva Sanjaya uvacha Eva muktva Rishikesham Gudakeshav parantapah Nayotsya iti govindam Thushnim uktva Nayotsya iti govindam Uktva tushnim babhuvah. Here Sanjaya is talking to Dhritarashtra and saying that parantapah, Kudakeshaha, That Parantapaha, Gudakeshaha, he is the subject. Sanjaya is speaking, and that subject is of his speech is our Arjuna. And he is Uktva, he is talking to somebody. He is talking to our Bhagavan Sri Krishna. What is the name for Krishna in this shloka? Hrishikesham Govindam Parantapaha Hrishikesham Uktva Babuva. So, what did he say? Nayotsya iti. Nayotsya iti. So, even after knowing his problem, Arjuna wants to first seeking relief from his fundamental problem. So, he's still saying, I won't fight. Nayotsya iti. This is what he said. Uktva. And as a Parantapa, he is the one who can scorch his enemies in the sense, it is very figurative. He is not like those people who are burning down people. Because I hear all these things. That, there's somewhere in the Middle East area, they believed in burning down people and all that. This is not Arjuna. The enemy would feel scorched just by his presence. That is Arjuna. See, there are wars, battles happening now, and as one Mahatma would put it, there was not a time in the history of mankind when there was no war. The only difference between the war which is happening now and what was happening, say, during the Mahabharata time would be, those times it was Dharma Yuddha. They fought for what was right, and then when they fought also, they were following certain rules regarding fighting. That is not equivalent to the wars which we are seeing now, where sometimes very innocent people are being killed and all those things. So Dharma Yuddham has been there. Dharma Yuddham can be there. And it was such a Dharma Yuddha, the whole Mahabharata battle. Swamiji was saying, he was asking, Duryodhana would go and seek a best time to start the battle. He would go and seek the astrologer Sahadeva, who is the last brother in the Panchapandava. Last brother is Sahadeva. He would go to him, Sahadeva, Nakula Sahadeva. He would go to him. So that was, he trusted that Sahadeva would be giving him the right time to start this battle. So there was dharma all through in those days. And that is why the word Parantapa here means he is the scorcher of enemies, in terms of the enemies will just shiver and feel burnt out or burnt down by Arjuna's prowess in battle. And that Parantapa is also Gudakeshaha. Sanjaya is always, he is using all the best words for both Arjuna and also Krishna. Here he is saying Arjuna is Gudakeshaha also. Gudakeshaha, we saw the meaning, saw the word many times in the first chapter. Gudaka means Nidra. Ishaha, one who has won over sleep, like Lakshmana in Ramayana. That is Arjuna. And here, at this point, he has won over his sleep by the name ignorance, relatively, by at least seeking the reality. The jignasatvam, the seeker in Arjuna is born. The seeker of truth in Arjuna is born. No matter what, it may be in the middle of battlefield. No, I'm seeking the truth. And Bhagavan, I know you can deliver. That seeker is born. That is why he is Gudakesha. And Gudaka is also a name for Bhagavan Shiva. He is a devotee of Shiva, Bhakta of Shiva. All this is all given by the different Tikakaras. As I told you in the last session, Bhagavan Sri Krishna sent Arjuna to worship on Shiva to get the Pashupatastra. So that kind of Harihara Aikya Bhava was there, has been always there. This Arjuna, who is Parantapaha Gudakeshaha, Hrishikesham. Bhagavan Sri Krishna is called Hrishikesha worth remembering, worth recollecting, because he is Rishikana Misha. All our senses, he is the one who is invigorating, who is controlling, who is having total control of all our senses, and whatever comes out is because of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Whatever change of mind which Arjuna is experiencing, seeking for the reality, it is all because of that Bhagavan Sri Krishna who is inside and outside, in terms of the one who is in control of the Indriyas inside, and in terms of all the Adhisthana Devatas of the Indriyas. Like Bahu, for shoulder it is Indra, and for ears it is Ashwini Kumara. Those Devatas are also, their Atma is Bhagavan. And Govindam is also the word. Govindam means here Bhagavan is the one, the figurative, the metaphoric cow of Vedas, which can give all the nourishment in terms of knowledge. Veda itself would mean knowledge. Which other scripture in the world has the literal translation knowledge for its word for the scriptures? This is our Veda. Veda means knowledge. So this Govindam, who is the one who is the authority of what the contents of the Veda, and who is going to teach based on the Shastra. And to him, evam muktva. What it is, evam muktva means he spoke thus. Nayotsya, I won't fight. Yeah, iti uktva tushnim babuva. He settled. Tushnim is he became quiet. He became quiet. It may look as if, after all this, Arjuna should, have an open mind to at least try fighting. And no, here he said nayotsya, because it is like a child, as one of the Mahatmas would say. A child wants to get up and walk for the first time or the second time. And mom is encouraging, come, beta, come. And he tries and then he falls. And when he falls, that is it. That is a big defeat for him, big failure for him, and he is unable to get up again. Now, what would be the next scene in the story? The mom will come running towards that child. So that is the kind of situation Arjuna is, still sunken and crestfallen, and limbs are unable to perform. And now it is a turn for Bhagavan to come running towards Arjuna with his Upadesha. And so that kind of a situation Arjuna is, and he is quiet. Tushnim, he became quiet. Why? Because he wants to know Bhagavan to speak. I have said enough. You have been very patiently listening to me. Hey Bhagavan, may you please give me the knowledge, because you are the authority of the Vedas. Govindam, that is the word meaning there. So that is our Bhagavan, and he was ready to speak to Arjuna. And in this verse, as I told you, Sanjaya is saying, having spoken to Hrishikesha in this manner, the Gudakesha or Arjuna, the scorcher of foes, saying so much to Govinda, I shall not fight, became quiet, very quiet he became. And after this, in the next sloka, we'll see, again continuing, Sanjaya is continuing to Dhritarashtra in the next sloka also. Swakiya nirnayam gurupasadanam cha ubhayam viruddham iti pradarshanam. Bhagavan is looking at Arjuna. Arjuna, what can I say about you? That kind of a smile he has got. That kind of a smile he has got. And then Bhagavan is not giving up on Arjuna. That is also you'll see in this shloka. Because Dhritarashtra wanted Bhagavan to give up Arjuna and let him do what he wants to do, which is, withdraw from the battlefield. But Sanjaya is saying that's not what is happening. Eva muktva Let us see the sloka. Sloka number 10. Tamuvacha Hrishikeshaha Prahasanniva Bharat Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Vishidantamidam Vachaha. He Bharata. Anvaya for this shloka. He Bharata. Bharata, you see the word is there. This is Sanjaya's addressing to Dhritarashtra. He is calling Dhritarashtra, Hey Bharata. Bharata Vamsha Paramparaya Bharata. You had come in the Bharata. We are all Bharatas. Am I right, Swamiji? We are all Bharata. The Bha would mean light, knowledge. And it is, if you think it is a masculine Shabda, this feminine Shabda only Bharati. Even beautiful. Bharati. That is the name for Saraswati also, by the way. So we are all either Bharata or Bharati. Bharati. So this is our parampara, this great glorious parampara. With that, Dhritarashtra is being addressed by Sanjaya. Hey Bharata. Hrishikeshaha, Bhagavan Sri Krishna is called Hrishikeshaha. Ubhayoho Senayoho Madhye. Ubhayoho, between these two battalions, Senayoho, Madhye, in between. Vishidantam tam Arjunam. Arjunam word is not there, you can provide the word. Vishidantam, the Arjuna who is overcome with sorrow. Vishidantam Arjunam. What did Bhagavan do? Prahasan eva. Laughing at Arjuna, as though laughing at Arjuna. As though laughing at Arjuna. Prahasan would be as though laughing at Arjuna. Idam vachaha uvacha. Idam vachaha uvacha. Mandahasam is there. Here it is prahasan. Prahasan. Prakarshena. But as though he were. Idam vachaha uvacha. He said, he spoke thus. Bhagavan spoke thus. Smilingly. Swamiji is adding, saying smilingly. We'll see here. So, what is happening? Tam Arjunam Senayoho Vahinyoho Ubayoho Madhye. See, Madhye, Senayor Ubayor Madhye. Again they are telling, because is this the right spot? Is this the right situation to talk about this? You could have, Arjuna, spoken to me all this at home, Grihe. We could have resolved, quietly sat over a cup of coffee, or in those days, cup of milk, and we could have resolved all these problems. But here, Senayor Ubhayor Madhye, in this, exactly when between this battlefield, which also means that this knowledge Bhagavan is ready to give wherever you are. And this knowledge is something which has to stay with us in whatever situation we are. Vishidantam Arjunam. Because this Arjuna, what first he started by saying, I'm going to fight. And now he is saying something opposite to that. So this kind of a Vishadam, sorrow, this kind of his expression of sorrow is in this way. And Atidukkitam Shoka Mohabhyam Abhibhutam Swadharmat Prachyuta Prayam. Swadharmat Prachyuta Prayam. He has gone away from doing his Swadharma, which is what Krishna was expecting out of him. But Krishna did not, Bhagavan did not give up on him. Although he gave up on Krishna in a way by not performing his duty, but Bhagavan did not give him up. Pratitya Prahasanniva. Upahasam kurvanniva. Upahasam kurvanniva. Making fun. Because see, what happens when somebody is laughing at someone when they have a problem? That someone does not feel good about it. He feels bad. He feels shy. He gets, he gets immersed in his shyness. He cringes. And here Bhagavan's intent was not that. His intent was to show the lack of discretion in Arjuna. Avivekam prakarshnartham. That lack of, the lack of discretion, lack of discernment. That lack, Arjuna, Bhagavan wants to say, hey, what is this you said and what is that you're doing? And he had that smile in his face, as Swamiji said. That is where the Iva Shabdam. It is not really laughing at, but the Iva means as though. That is the Iva Shabdam. Then he started, Bhagavan is saying, Vachanam uchivan, nishreyasa adhigama sadhanam uchitavan. Ityaha. So Bhagavan is going to thus spake Bhagavan, starting from the next verse. So this is the 10th shloka, and from the next shloka onwards, Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Bhagavan will start his Upadesha from the next shloka. So if you look at the Shankara Bhashyam, Bhagavan Sri Shankaracharya says, the very first verse in the first chapter, what is that? Sanjaya, the Dhritarashtra Uvacha, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre, Samaveta Yuyutsavah, Mahamaka Pandavaschaiva, Kimakurvata Sanjaya. This very first verse is connection with the Katha, the story, continuation of the story. And the second verse onwards, what is the second verse? Kimakurvata Sanjaya. Then the second verse, which is Sanjaya Uvacha Drishtva tu Pandava Nikam Vyudham Duryodanastada. That is second verse. Pandava's forces having seen Duryodhana, Acharya Mupasangamya, even towards his teacher, Drona. So there is a second verse. Raja Vachanam Abravidi spoke thus. So from this second verse onwards, which is starting to show Duryodhana's Shokamoha. Duryodhana, see, we are all focusing on Arjuna's Shokamoha. Others were no less. I would like to share a story in the battlefield. Even before Arjuna's Gandiva, Arjuna's bow and arrow would fall, even before Arjuna become paralyzed in his thoughts about what to do and giving up everything, the same thing happened to Yudhishthira. If you read the Mahabharata story, Yudhishthira was the first one to get overwhelmed by Shoka, by the Moha. Yes, me and my people, how can I do this? Who is the Dharmaputra? He is called, there is a Putra of Dharmaputra. That Yudhishthira, the same problem happened as it was happening to Arjuna. Yudhishthira, who was the advisor? Who played the role of Krishna for Yudhishthira? Very surprisingly, it was Arjuna himself. So that Arjuna, who is now Shokamoha, but starting from the verse 2, it was showing exactly the problem of Shokamoha, narrating the Shokamoha of Duryodhana onwards. In between Bhishma, in between Drona, all the other people, everybody's Shokamoha, everybody's dilemma, everybody's dilemma between Dharma and Adharma, everybody's fear, everybody's insecurity, everybody's superimposed value just for the sake of self-acceptance. Those things are all very clearly told from the second shloka onwards. Bhagavan Shankaracharya, who is a commentator on the Gita, Bhagavan's commentary starts from this 11th verse onwards. And Bhagavan Shankaracharya is saying, Acharya Shankaracharya is saying before the 11th verse that the second shloka in the Gita onwards up to this shloka which we saw just now, or the one before, which is the 9th shloka, where Nayotsya iti Govinda, we just saw that. That 9th shloka, up to that it is just a presentation of praninam, of the presentation of the shoka, moha, and dosha, the dosha of shoka moha, the defect of shoka moha, and the kind of samsara, the kind of misery it can bring into one's life, being the seed for all the anartha, for all the meaningless things. So that kind of a presentation has happened so far. And then we saw, let me take this book for a second. Then the illustration was Arjuna's shoka, mohadi, sansara, dukkha, bija, bhuta, doshodbhava, karana, hetu, pradarshanaarthatvena, vyakhyeyaha grantaha. This is Bhagavan Shankaracharya's words. He says from the second shloka onwards until the second shloka of the first chapter onwards, until the 9th shloka of this chapter, it is just a presentation of the ahankara and mamakara, which is based on the avidya, not knowing the reality, taking the snake to be rope, and taking the rope to be snake, taking the rope to be snake, and that is avidya there. And once that this happens, then all the problem of bhaya and shoka, everything follows. Everything follows. So it is that avidya and then ahankara. This is me and myself. I'm only this much. This is all my people. I don't care when it comes to them. I don't care if they are good or bad. When it comes to others, even a small thing matters for me. And this kind of a moha is there. And moha, how does it lead to shoka? See, moha, if I am having a moha in my body and if I want to keep myself clean, that is okay. Certain amount of identity is good to keep yourself clean. And even when it comes to your family, they have to be taken care of. The people who depend on you, you serve them. And that is possible by you and not by someone else because of the identity that he's, I have to take care of him. He's connected to me, related to me. That moha is fine. But that part of the moha which can turn to shoka, that part of the moha which can turn to shoka, or the side effect of moha, which is shoka, that is the thing which is being addressed here. It's a very practical grantha, very practical text. That is what is being addressed here. And that is the seed, that moha, which is based on avidya, which is based on ignorance, which is based on ajnana, that moha, that superimposition and attaching wrong value, say to money, to self, to relation. And when we say wrong value, we're not saying that is wrong. We're not saying they are wrong. We are saying when it turns out to be a cause for a shoka, then you analyze where it is all coming from. This kind of an analysis, which is what Arjuna is there, which is a situation for Arjuna here. And he has displayed it. How do you know Arjuna? How do we know this? Because he has displayed it by not being able to derelict his duties, by not able to do what he has to do, and also trying to take up something which is not right. We all do that. We all have situations where we don't do what needs to be done, but we do what we like. And when there is a need where we need to we don't do sometimes because we don't like. So because of moha, because of this moha, there is a raga dvesha is there. And this raga dvesha is also driving our actions. So behind all this, just like Arjuna's problem, it is also our problem. And someone may say, I don't have such problem. I'm able to do what I'm supposed to be doing. I always take care of my duties. Our Bhashyakara is addressing all this. Somebody might be saying also, then if you allow that person to talk a little more, he would say, I'm always doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know why I'm not being appreciated. I don't know why I'm not being appreciated. I don't know why I have to do someone else's job also. So even if you take yourself to be the other end, and then also this Shokamoha problem is there. Because there is you have a connection, or you have a sense of self-acceptance in terms of the result of what you're doing. You want the result to be in a certain manner, and if it is not in a certain manner, then you sometimes brood over it, thinking about all the omissions and commissions from your side. So this cycle goes on, and you want to remedify those omissions, those commissions and omissions, leading to guilt. If there is an omission, there is a guilt. If there is a commission, wrong commission, there is a guilt. You have a guilt of doing something wrong. And if there is an omission, in terms of somebody omits something, you have a hurt also, feeling also. These omissions and commissions goes on and on. So this is all from the Bhashyakara Shankaracharya's introduction to this shloka which is following, because he wants us to understand that this problem of Arjuna is our problem. We have to make a connection, because we all have to be the adhikari for this Gita. And what it takes to be an adhikari, just to see the problem. Very, very simple. Adhikaritva is very simple. And also in terms of some relative shama, dhamma, we know this from our sadhana chatushtayam. Some little bit of vairagya, little bit of a tyaga buddhi, little bit of tyaga buddhi would mean little bit of what I should say, giving up in terms of what we need and what we actually have more. And this tyaga buddhi, not bhoga buddhi, opposite of bhoga buddhi, opposite of just going after me and my pleasures, is the tyaga buddhi. I can sacrifice a little bit for the sake of something higher. So this vairagya, then shama, some kind of a composed mind, dhamma, some kind of a composed stature in terms of what you seek for the body, and then uparama, some kind of a withdrawal from whatever is around happening, which is so exciting, so that you can be more objective. Some objectivity. Vairagya also means some objectivity. So this is all we all have. So we have to be the adhikari for this Gita. And Arjuna is just an illustration, just an illustration. And the battlefield and the death, as battlefield which involves, which is a huge stake in terms of life and death. It is just to say, in that situation of life and death also, this self-knowledge matters. In terms of resolving, not bringing the dead alive, in terms of resolving what is centered on you, which is sorrow. In that terms, this knowledge is very relevant to you. This relevance, I want you all to see before we enter into the shloka. And not just I want you to see, but Bhashyakara also wants you to see the relevance of this knowledge towards yourself. And then the shloka starts. We will start this shloka a little bit. Just like we left Karpanya dosha shloka, we started and we left and we continued in this class. This shloka is also worth dwelling upon, because it is one of the charama shloka, one of the highlighted shlokas. Who knows, this one shloka can resolve all our problems. So with that kind of an attitude, we'll start today, and we will see how far we can go. Maudhyam pandityam cha ubhayam ekatra viruddham iti varnanam. And before I get into the shloka, I want to tell you this. This Gita, many of you might know and some of you might not know, is divided into, the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is divided into 6 each. Shadgam, they say. Shad means 6. Shadgam. The first 6, the middle 6, and the last 6. Because there is this mahavakya. See, this Atma Jnanam, this self-knowledge, the self-knowledge which addresses, as Pujya Swamiji says, this addresses your sorrow. So sorrow can be for different reasons. We have to see what is the real underlying reason and then address that. But this and take the topical remedy. But here, fundamentally, where it is coming from, that kind of an analysis we are starting. And for that analysis, what we do is we say in the Shastra, mahavakya artha bodham. Mahavakya. The mahavakya would mean, maha would mean great. But these are the statements in the Shastra where the identity has been shown of oneself as Brahman, of oneself as complete, of oneself as limitless. And there cannot be two limitless, as Pujya Swamiji would say. There is only one limitless. And that you, in reality, that is the tatparya, that is the content of this mahavakya. And here, what they're doing, they're dividing Gita into 6 chapters each, and they're taking one mahavakya called Tat Tvam Asi. Tat Tvam Asi. Thou art that. Tat means that. Thou would be thyself, ourselves, yourself. That is thyself. Very honorific way of calling you. Thyself, please come means it's a very honorific way of saying you. Like aap, Hindi mein aap. So that aap, that thyself, that you are that. You are that. Thyself, thou art that, but thyself is the expansion of thou. Thou art that. That means that is Parabrahma, Paramatma. Jivatma is Paramatma. Jivatma in reality is Paramatma. When you drop the Jiva word, when you drop the Param word, there's only Atma. That is you. So this kind of Agyavakya. So first 6 chapters is talking about Tvam Padartham. Because Tvam, Arjuna is being addressed by Krishna and hey, what do you think of yourself? And he's going to start this verse. So that you, that thyself is the topic for the first 6 chapters. The second 6 chapter will be Tat Padartham, Bhagavan. Tat means that Bhagavan. Second 6 chapter. Bhagavat Tattva, Ishvara Tattva, Brahma Tattvam. The knowledge of the ultimate. That is the second 6 chapter. The last 6 chapter would be the connection, Aikya Bodham. The Bodha, the understanding of the oneness, that there is only one, Paramatma. That oneness. That is the Aikya. So this is the connection between the chapters. And then, see, this is the Mahavakya I told you. In this shloka, Bhagavan Sri Krishna just blows our mind by saying, Maudyam and Pandityam. Hey, my dear Arjuna, wisdom, which you spoke in so many words, and sorrow cannot have the same locus. Ekasmin adhikarane. In the same adhikarana, na sambhava. Ekasmin adhikarane samakale na sambhavati. In this, in your mind, there cannot be this sorrow sitting and on the top of which knowledge sitting, or knowledge, self-knowledge, or this wisdom sitting and on the top of which sorrow sitting. Though both cannot be in the same place. That is Bhagavan. Look, who else can start addressing the problem in this manner? So, we'll start looking into the sloka. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Ashocyan Anvashochastvam Prajnavadanscha Bhashase Gata Sunagata Sunscha Nanushocanti Panditaha. Because Bhagavan did not find an alternative. This Arjuna, who is immersed in the ocean of shoka, here it's given, Pashyakara, ocean of shoka would mean, it is a metaphoric thing. Shoka, that the ocean of sorrow means, that ocean is something. What is the ocean? You cannot cross. Nobody can cross the ocean from one side to the other side by his own. They need a help of a boat or something. And there's a very good chance you will get drowned on it, drowned in the ocean. These are the lakshanas of ocean. So when Arjuna is expressing that kind of sorrow, Bhagavan had no option, it says. Bhashyakara, when I say, it means Shankaracharya Maharaj, says Bhagavan had no option. It is not that he was opening shop and waiting for somebody to come and gain self-knowledge. Bhagavan had no option but to give this Uddidara Ishuhu Atma Jnanaya Avatarayan. Bhagavan is, with Uddharana. To Uddharani, Uddharani is the spoon. You take water from the water. Uddharanartham. For the Uddharana, for uplifting Arjuna from this, he is bringing it. Now, this mahavakya is all equation, as Pujya Swamiji would say. When I say all these big words like, thou art that, Jivatma is Paramatma, it is Bhagavan, our Maharaj, Swamiji Maharaj, Pujya Swamiji would say it is like an equation. A plus B the whole square, and when it says A square plus 2AB plus B square, the both sides don't look equal. It doesn't look equal, but they're equal. There is some equality. Let's put it that way. There is some equality, there is some similarity. We should understand that. And Pujya Swamiji would say, 3 plus 5 is equal to 9 minus 1. Where is 3, where is 5, and where is 9, and where is 1? Both sides don't look equal. So, but there is an equation has to be, there is a contradiction, apparent contradiction. It's all Pujya Swamiji's brilliant way of putting. It's an apparent contradiction. And then what does an apparent contradiction call for? Apparent contradiction would call for a resolution. How long should be the resolution? The resolution is until the contradiction is resolved. Until there is no contradiction. Now you see, this is an analysis. It's a topic of analysis where you'll also enjoy, I'll also enjoy, because I have to present all the connections in an analysis. That is when I enjoy speaking to you, and you would enjoy only when you see all the connections. So it is not something I can just say and get away. It is something I have to show all the connections. So this is what is the Tatparya of Gita. And here in this shloka, Ashocyan Anvashochastvam, Bhagavan is saying in Pujya Swamiji's words, you grieve for those who should not be grieved. When you say who should not be grieved, I would say who need not be grieved. Or in our Pujya Swamiji's words, there is no legitimacy behind your grief. There is no legitimacy behind your grief. And Ashocyan Anvashochastvam, Ashocyan, Tvam Ashocyan. Ashocyan will be those who need not be grieved about. Bhishma and Drona, those great personalities, you don't have to grieve about them. Anvashocha, but you do grieve. You have become the one who is subjected to grief, Anvashocha. And with this grief, Pragyavadanscha Bhashase, you are talking as if you are very wise. Your words, you speak words of wisdom. Pragyavadanscha Bhashase, you speak words of wisdom. And Gatasun cha Agatasun. Krishna's language is very, very interesting. Gatasun means the one who has given up his breath, those who are no more with us. And Gatasuncha, Agatasuncha, the one who is yet to give up his breath. In the sense, Bhagavan Krishna is very blunt. We are all in the queue. Gatasuncha, Agatasuncha, when we are all in the queue, Gatasuncha, Agatasuncha, Panditaha, wise men, na anushochanti, they would not grieve. The wise men would not grieve about this situation. That is Yeah. So this is where I would like to stop because it's going to be 5, the puja is going to start in a minute. But I want to tell you, this is the situation most of the people, one Mahatma, Swami Akananda Saraswati Swami says, we all speak of big, big things, many people. Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, all these big speakers are there. And at the same time, they have all the problems also. This is very relevant. This kind of words are very relevant for the situation these days. So, there's a in a Shastra also there's a thing, there's a shloka, Sarve Brahma Vadishyanti Nanutishtanti Maitreyi. They are all Brahma karke baat karte hain. No, Anutishtanam is not there. Anutishtanam is not there. And then the shloka ends by saying, Sishnodara Parayanaha. They're only after their need for enjoyment and security. For that reason, they speak all big words. So this is what one Mahatma has told. And here we have just seen the shloka, Ashocyan shloka we have seen. Just the word meaning, translation will continue because this shloka, great things are going to come out of this shloka. And the following shlokas also. I'm very happy I'm stopping here because there's so much follow-up is there in terms of the other shlokas. Sequencing is there. We'll see all that in our next sessions. We'll all get ready for the puja at the temple. And I thank you all for being a part of this session in spite of all the difficulties, mental distress we are having at this point in time. And I would urge you all to do more prarthana for us to come out of this coronavirus crisis. And as a part of it, we'll now seek the blessings of Bhagavan Sri Dakshinamurti, Medha Dakshinamurti Namaha. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnad Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.